Hey, what's up, guys? Mike from the Oak Cliff Kickboxing Academy. I'm breaking down the action from UFC 160, giving you live results and analysis. First fight on the prelims, featherweight battle, Estevan Payan, Jeremy Stephens. This fight started off where one guy would land something and the other guy would copy it, get it back. And then a lot of leg kicks to start off, low blow. Thankfully, it didn't stop the fight for too long. And then Jeremy Stephens landed a takedown pretty much whenever he wanted. Landed a big elbow, got a cut on Payan's forehead, pretty big, but doctor never came in to check it out. It was a big factor in the second and third round. Just a bloody mess everywhere, and Stephens was picking his shots and in the stand up, and he would time his takedown very nice, so he picks up the decision. Brian Bowes versus George Roop. Bowes, he hasn't fought in a long time. Definitely can see the ring rust, but he did finish the first round strong. Roop was landing front kicks, and one of them possibly broke a rib or something because Bowes took a little while to go back to his corner at the end of the first. Bowes, he's a puncher, and with as tall as Roop is, he has to throw those overhands. So very spaced out. He would pick his shots, but he would land, and Roop would go down. In the second, though, he did get caught, and he went down, wasn't able to recover. Roop was all over him with punches, and the referee stops it. The final fight on the Facebook prelims, Stephen the Wonder Boy Thompson versus Nah-Shon Burrell. These guys spend a lot of time, surprisingly, locked up in the clinch, throwing lots of knees to the body, to the leg. But when they would get separation, Stephen Thompson, clearly the better stand-up fighter, threw lots of head kicks, mixes punches up to the body, to the head. It was an entertaining fight, except when they were tied up against the cage. And Stephen the Wonder Boy Thompson picks up the decision. First fight on FX, Abel Trujillo, Khabib Nurmagomedov. This fight was all Khabib. He got takedowns over and over again. Most of them were from back control, suplex, and for 3 rounds over and over, Trujillo wasn't able to do anything. Hopefully, though, Nurmagomedov tests clean. At the weigh-ins, he was a few pounds over, and he raged a little bit. So hopefully he tests clean because it was a very impressive performance. A battle of Ultimate Fighter winners. Robert Whittaker, winner of Tough Smashes, fights the other Ultimate Fighter winner, Colton Smith. And the first round, it was pretty even. Colton Smith got the knockdown though, so I guess you got to give him that round. And in the second, to start it off, Whittaker got the knockdown himself and really poured it on at the end of the round. He almost got the fight stopped. Colton Smith was a bloody mess, but he's able to hang on and go to the third. And in the third, he gets dropped again. And the actual stoppage was a little bit premature, but if you look at all the damage that Colton Smith was taking, it does make sense. So Robert Whittaker wins by TKO. Dennis Bermudez versus Max Holloway. Holloway wasn't able to get off the way he usually does. Bermudez was very active, mixing up his punches, his kicks, and Holloway was able to land a spinning back kick though that momentarily stunned Dennis, and then he landed another one to the body. But overall, I give that round to Bermudez. In the second round, Bermudez was finally able to land that takedown, and he also did very well on the feet. And more of the same in the third. He got the takedown again. And at the end of this round, though, he got some very heavy ground and pound in. And you can see on Max Holloway's face all the damage he had been taking. In the final prelim fight, Mike Pyle versus Rick Story. In the first round, it was all Rick Story with his punching. He mixes it up to the body very well. And then he landed big up top. Pyle went straight back. If the cage wasn't there, he probably would have been knocked out with his head bouncing off the floor. But somehow he's able to to last to the end of the round, and that's definitely got to be a 10-8 round. In the second round, Story with the takedown, and Mike Pyle was threatening with his submissions. He had a Kimura pretty deep. Brick Story, though, refused to tap, and he spent the rest of the round on top, not really doing a whole much. So maybe Mike Pyle picks up that round. And in the third, it was Rick Story very tired, ate a lot of punches, but he was still getting takedowns. And judges scored it as a split decision for Mike Pyle. I thought it should have been maybe a draw or the Rick Story, but that's the way it goes. Opening up the pay-per-view, Donald Cerrone versus KJ Noons, Strikeforce fighter versus former WEC fighter. And very evenly matched, slight advantage to Cowboy Cerrone. Every time KJ would start to come on, he would have landed a takedown. And so, over and over, same thing through the whole fight. Donald Cerrone picks up the decision. TJ Graham versus Gray Maynard. A lot of people surprised when Dana White announced winner would be getting a title shot. TJ Graham was all over Gray, big on his punches. Gray was hurt, and he tried to back away and try to just get out of there. Grant did not let him off the hook. He poured it on, and the referee finally stops it. So very impressive by TJ Grant. The only thing that I want to say is, Gray hasn't fought in a while. True, he's one of the top guys, but ring rust is definitely a factor. But it looks like now he's going to get the title shot, and it's going to be interesting to see him fight Benson Henderson. Glover Teixeira versus James Te-Huna. Both guys firing early. Um, Nobody really backing away from this fight. But it was Glover who made a smart decision, gets the fight to the ground with a nice takedown. And it took a little while, but he set up a good guillotine. And he dropped back into guard. And he locked it in. And that was it. James Te-Huna taps. Great job by Glover Teixeira. In the co-main event, Junior Dos Santos versus Mark Hunt. Mark Hunt gets this shot because Alistair Overeem had to drop out of the fight. A lot of people thought Mark Hunt was going to win. When you look at it on paper, they were pointing to his K1 history and all that. My pick was Junior Dos Santos, though, because, you can't just look at the paper, the accolades. Dos Santos, he's always outboxed his opponents. Doesn't matter if it was Crow Cop or Frank Mir, Shane Carwin. So I knew he was going to stick to his boxing. Every once in a while, he mixed in a takedown. And at the very end, he wanted that finish. He throws a crazy spinning wheel kick, and it lands. And he finishes Mark Hunt with like less than a minute left. Very impressive by Junior Dos Santos. In the main event, champion Cain Velasquez versus Bigfoot Silva. Silva looking to be patient. He stuffed two takedowns, but Cain working his hands. He landed a big shot, and Bigfoot goes down. He's trying to cover up a little bit, but Cain is raining those punches down, and referee stops the fight very early in the first round.